I'm Stacey.
I'm Joanne.
I'm Kayleigh.
Wait till I tell ya.
Episode 7. Welcome to episode 7, where we are going to be discussing conspiracy theories.
That's so fucking weird. I was just about to do that.
The Irish Goodbye, our usual segments of Ick and Confession. So, conspiracy theories. Let's get stuck right in. I am going to go head first in this because I am obsessed with conspiracy theories. I've watched so many documentaries, I have read so many articles and so many books, and even when I was in primary school, do you know when you used to have like the little book corner in your primary school classroom?
Yes.
And you were allowed to go over to the book corner if you finished your work and pick a book.
Yeah.
There was a book that we used to have there, and it was called Strange But True.
Okay.
And it was all about, like, now come to think of it, they probably shouldn't have had it in a primary school classroom. But anyway, it was all about like conspiracy theories and things that people have claimed they have seen that aren't actually true. So one of the biggest ones for me is Bigfoot.
Okay.
Otherwise known as the Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've saw the movies, we've seen the clips. What I query and what I question on this is that if nobody has ever seen him, how have we got a clear, concise image that across the board everybody recognizes as Bigfoot?
Mm-hmm.
So like we have this image of a giant man-like figure covered in hair from head to toe with giant footprints, but that is literally across all of America and Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same generic kind of image across the board. So I'm like, if everybody has this image in their head and believes this, like, where did it stem from?
Mm-hmm.
There was one documentary in particular that I watched, and it was about this group of co-workers who were working on like a rig up in the middle of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And they were moving like massive barrels of like oil, and there was a lot of like heavy duty equipment and stuff like that. And a couple of nights in, they were obviously sleeping on the rig, and a couple of nights in, they had barrels that were moved, they had footprints that were found, and like,
Oh my God.
I find it really hard to believe that you could impersonate a footprint.
It's very big as well.
Yeah, exactly. But what really came to life for me was that in 2002, so this was back in like the 60s, 70s. So in 2002, one of the co-workers who was working on that rig passed away.
Oh.
And in his possession, he had wooden footprints that he had carved to play a trick on his co-workers. Now, that still doesn't answer the question of how were the barrels being moved, because it would take 2 or 3 of them to move a barrel.
Yeah.
But these barrels were being moved in the middle of the night with no machinery going. But this guy had specifically gotten footprints made of the size of the Sasquatch / Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it. And he had planted them to kind of like, I suppose, make them a bit paranoid or like freak them out a bit or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I think it kind of fell back on him then, because then the barrels started going missing and he was like, what's going on here?
Because it was like as if he never believed it. So he was like, right, let's take the piss. And then,
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is literally one of my like favorite ones.
Really?
Yeah, like obsessed. I've watched all the documentaries. There's even a cartoon on, I think it's Netflix or that now, called Bigfoot.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's where like this kid finds out that Bigfoot is his father, and it's a bit weird, but you know, it's fine for kids.
Oh my God.
So that's one of my ones. So I'm going to throw the ball into your court for one.
Ones I do find very interesting are Area 51 in the Nevada desert in America. There's so much attached to it. You would need 10 podcasts to cover it. Do you remember the set up a couple of years ago, a Facebook group to all try meet at Area 51?
No way.
And they were all meant to meet at this date, this time, this year, at a particular area, and all go, right, feck it, let's go suss out what this Area 51 is. Now, nothing ever came of it because I believe something to do with America figured it out, shut it down, blah, blah, blah. But yeah. My other one that I have kind of a big interest in is the Bermuda Triangle in the North Atlantic Ocean. There is so much surrounding that. it's led to kind of believe that it's one thing, and then others believe it's something to do with the Illuminati, and others believe it's just magnets and currents and whirlpools and all this crack. But yeah, and then more of a later one, I suppose, is our Nessie, our Loch Ness monster of Scotland.
Good old Ness.
So they're kind of just ones I just wanted to touch on, because I feel like they're a big area of interest for a lot of people. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some people believe that COVID was a conspiracy theory, but we will dive deeper into COVID in another episode.
Definitely.
So what's your next one?
So the second one that I kind of wanted to touch on, and this is going to be very controversial across the board, because it is a very touchy subject with a lot of people for a lot of reasons, which is fine. 9/11.
Okay, fair enough.
So there have been some huge conspiracy theories around 9/11.
Yeah.
In relation to whether or not it was actually an organised event by the US government, that they both gained financially from, and that the government themselves gained whatever it was they were going to gain from this anyway.
Yeah.
But I suppose the biggest one on 9/11 and it was actually Brian sat down with me, and we actually watched a couple of episodes. There was this movie that was brought out called Loose Change. It was brought out in like 2005, but there was like 3 or 4 different versions of it brought out, because the guy, Dylan Avery, the guy that wrote it, he kind of rewrote it as he gathered more information and stuff. He rewrote the episodes.
Okay.
And he added more information to it. But I suppose the one thing that sticks out to me, having like, and I mean to tell you, when I analysed footage, I mean, like, I watched those hijackings time and time again. Like, I've watched them. I've like pulled back and watched the same part of the clip over and over and over again. And the one thing that stands out to me the most is the Pentagon.
Okay.
Is the fact that when you look at the said hijacking and the plane apparently going into the Pentagon, that is not what the video depicts.
Okay.
Because it actually looks like it was an explosion from the inside out.
Okay.
So it doesn't actually look like anything actually hit the Pentagon.
Okay.
It just looks like there was a specific section that literally like imploded almost.
Okay.
So it looks like...
Before the plane ever hit.
Correct. But also, the other side of things around it is that there was very little, if none, debris from the plane collected from the Pentagon hijacking, apparently. I say that in inverted commas because I firmly believe it wasn't a hijacking.
Okay.
The Pentagon.
Yeah.
There was very little debris. Was there people killed? Yes.
Yeah.
Was it an atrocity? Abso-fucking-lutely. Was it planned by the government? Very possibly.
Yeah.
So that's another one for me that I'm like, you could literally dive into like a rabbit hole.
All of that you could.
And like, it's funny because like America is probably one of the most high surveillance countries in the world.
Yeah.
Like every corner you turn, there's cameras, there's somebody recording something somewhere.
Yeah. So
I find it really hard to believe that they have limited footage, which is what they claim.
Yeah.
For the Pentagon. And I'm like, for somewhere of such a high standard and such a high caliber and it's such a high importance area, would you not have more cameras on it than less?
Yeah.
So that story doesn't really corroborate for me. And the evidence does highly suggest that it was an inside job.
Yeah.
Because
and just planned to look like it was a plane that went in.
Exactly, because on that day it just so happened that yes, there was a hijacking on the Twin Towers. So it was almost like, will we use this to our benefit and claim that after the 2 planes hijacked the Twin Towers, which by the way was horrific to watch. But after that it was like the Pentagon almost got like an idea, like this has happened now, so how about we like, and I'm not saying it's entirely true, I'm just saying as a conspiracy theorist who looks into stuff like this, it is a possibility.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
But like NORAD apparently stood down orders for intercepting a hijacked plane. So I'm like, why would they stand down if there was a possible threat?
Yes.
Especially to the Pentagon. So isn't that where like the treasury and stuff is? It's all to do with the money.
Yeah.
So like, it poses a lot of questions when a place that contains such valuable information for the USA gets potentially hit on the day where there actually is a terrorist attack on the trade centres. It's just there's a lot of grey areas around that.
There is a lot, and like you said, there was an awful lot of tragedies.
Yeah.
There was so many people killed, so many bystanders, so many important people, everybody was important, don't get me wrong. But then the amount of
government officials almost
and emergency services, that had to be called to the scene, and then for the aftermath that had to be looked after. It was huge. Like, I remember that.
Yeah.
So I do. I remember that being on like TV and everything. So I do.
I remember it being on the telly. We were after getting home from school, and obviously it had happened just after we got into school, because it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. It was like that really early morning where there was going to be the highest volume of people around, and obviously the idea was maximum casualties because it was a terrorist attack. So you want to cause the maximum amount of problems. So like, they knew what they were doing. The hijackers knew what they were doing. And like, just to see, even I remember seeing the footage, and I remember even like teachers or family members, and I remember people watching it and genuinely getting really, really upset. Because it was like, this literally just happened. These people were on their way to work on a normal day, like they would do every other day of the year. And they just happened to get into work. And then all of a sudden, like, a plane literally crashes into their offices. Like, it's terrifying to even think that it happened. Like, we talk about it now, like it's 20 odd years ago now. Like, the little boy, he was born on the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Matthew was the 11th of September 2021, which was the 20th anniversary, because it was 2001. So if you think about it, like 20 years on, and we still remember it as like yesterday.
And been on the news and everything. Like, it was so prominent. It was on in the papers and everything. So it was everywhere, and it's still highly talked about. So it is.
So what's your one that you want to zone in on? I'm very curious.
So basically, I have mentioned further away ones. So there was the ones in America, there was the North Atlantic Ocean, and there was Scotland. But I want to bring mine more close to home. Both of yours were America as well. So as you know, I worked in a bookies once upon a time, and to the people that didn't know that, I worked in a bookies once upon a time, and to this day they even joke about the very famous horse Shergar, who went missing in February 1983, and that was 43 years ago. Nobody really knows what happened, and nobody came forward. The conspiracy theory behind this is that the IRA are believed to have had something to do with it. It's believed that they abducted Shergar on February 8, 1983. An armed gang, all dressed in black, wearing balaclavas, raided the Ballymanny Stud in County Clare. They took Shergar at gunpoint. They demanded $3 million ransom. The connection it had to the IRA is that former member Sean O'Callaghan stated it was done to fund arms. So the IRA didn't have, like, it wasn't their main leaders that had, like, pulled them, like, right, we're going to do this. It was a few rogue members of the IRA that were like, we'll go do this, make extra money so that we can build on our armory, right? Again, Callaghan had said kidnappers may have panicked once they had taken Shergar, that once maybe they put the horse into the horse box to travel, that he started to act up. He wasn't used to the people that were around him. He potentially hurt his leg. Again, this is all speculation. Some believe he was shot at the time. Despite many investigations, ransom negotiations, and claims of where the horse was laid to rest, no arrests have ever been made, and Shergar's remains have never been found. So Shergar was a horse worth millions. He won the Epsom Derby in 1981 by 10 lengths, the longest winning margin in the race's 202-year history. After he won 4 more major Derby wins, he was named European Horse of the Year. At this point, Shergar was 5. Wow. So he was a young horse, but a mature horse. Like, people all around had tried to put bids in against taking Shergar. People wanted to take over. There was one person in particular, I can't remember the location, but I think it was somewhere foreign, and they wanted to come over to Ireland to actually buy him, to breed him.
Yeah.
Because they were hoping, right, well, if we breed more, praying to God, that did turn out like him. Another interesting theory about the kidnapping was that it was done the day before Ireland's Big Goff's racehorse sale, so that when they were out and about with him in the horse box, it would be hard to identify them on the road.
How convenient.
Very convenient. So, like, it was strategically done. So it was. But it was so strategically done to this day. Nobody knows nothing. Me shite. At the time as well, Dublin Garda had even offered over £150,000 reward for his return. So by then he was gone. Do you know? This all, and funnily enough as well, right? This all went on during the Troubles.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the rogue members of the IRA wanting to build up money. And for the kidnapping, I suppose, to go full circle, it was to buy guns, bombs, equipment to make bombs, all the rest. Some think he was shot. Some believe he was buried in a bog in County Leitrim, while others think he was dumped into the sea of Ireland's south coast. The kidnapping has inspired several books and documentaries, and one film called Shergar. But you know what as well? This is something that does, like, I think about this quite often because it's very local, right? I'm only from Laois. Kildare isn't exactly a million miles away, right? And where the area is, you would often pass it, do you know? And where everything is. So, like, I think if anybody was young enough at the time, they're still alive. This was only 43 years ago. So if you were a man in your 20s at the time that this all happened, you're still around. If you've, like, I think if anybody was young enough at the time that was involved with it, they're still alive today. They know the full story. Why not now, 43 years later, sell your real story, right? Yeah. Could they make a profit on it? Not even would, but could they make a profit on it now to actually come out and be like, Shergar is here? Would they get in trouble? Would they get arrested? Or would it just be the greatest story of horse racing history finally been come to light? Like, imagine that in the racing post.
Yeah.
Shergar found. Granted, he'd be dead, but, like,
found.
Do you know what I mean? Or Shergar, we now have the story.
Yeah, and I think you've touched on it there. Like, I think there would be the fear of God in people that
be terrified to come out with it because it was such a scandal.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's probably why we haven't heard anything, because you know yourself, in the horse racing community, everybody's quite tight knit.
Oh yes,
so everybody knows everybody's business. Everybody knows everything about everybody's horse, and there's kind of very little secrecy and stuff. So the reality of that conspiracy is probably that somebody knows something. So somebody is living 100%. With that knowledge.
Oh, they absolutely are.
Yeah.
Like, granted, there are so many people probably have passed away from it or whatever. Not from Shergar, but like passed away now at this point because of the Troubles being so prominent at the time in Ireland during that year, like, and whatever else. But I would absolutely love if any of our listeners have any interest in the likes of Shergar, that if they know any more, or not even if they, like, not personal information or anything, like, nobody's going to reach out with that. But, like, if anybody knows, like, of anybody who was actually living at that time and they really remember it or whatever else, I'd love to know more. Yeah. I'd absolutely love to know more. So please send us an email at waitlitella@gmail.com, because if you do have information, not in the whereabouts of them or anything now, because, like, this is not the guards, but I would absolutely love to know, like, if anybody remembers that actual time. And is like, it's just something that I remember. It was fondness of it. It was the slagging that the lads gave each other and be like, oh, sure, that one's gone there now, like Shergar. Do you know, like, it was just the way they were with each other about it or whatever. But yeah, it was all something I found that little bit interesting.
It's just like in the, they sing the song, she runs a bit like Shergar.
Yes.
It's just like,
the bios, yeah. Oh my God, what were they called? Rubber bandits.
Rubber bandits. Jesus Christ. Took me a minute.
That's
that was good. I really enjoyed that section, I have to say.
Yeah. Somebody knows the truth.
Somebody knows the truth, but they're not going to ever spill it.
And on a lighter note, the Irish goodbye.
Oh God, yeah.
You can give this one a start, my love.
Yeah, no problem. So I think the Irish goodbye is, I think they call it the French leave as well.
Yeah.
Is literally, you know, like when you go to a wedding or when you go to a party and, like, everyone and their aunt is there. And you know that if you actually stop and say goodbye. Because you know you're leaving a party, you're always like, oh, I'll pass myself with everyone now and I'll say goodbye to Sally, John, Joe, Jack and everybody that's here.
Yeah.
But you know for a fact that's going to take you about an hour and a half to do the rounds to actually get out. So you give them the old Irish goodbye. You know, good luck, good night, God bless, and tell absolutely nobody that you've gone home.
Yep. Absolutely.
And the thing is, like, if you're in, I know, like, I've done it before whereby if I'm in a group of 5 or 6, I'll turn around to, like, one of the girls and I'll say, look, I'm actually going to just tip off here. I'll give you a text when I'm home. So then she'll know that I'm gone home and that I've gotten home safely. And then someone will be like, oh, where's Stacey?
Oh, she's gone on.
She's actually gone on home there. I'm after texting her and all, she's home. And nobody will think twice about it.
No.
But if you actually take the time to walk around table to table, person to person, family to family, you would literally be there all night.
A week. Easy.
You'd have to take annual leave to do it.
And that's hard enough to get.
But that's my take on the Irish goodbye.
Yeah. See, as well, like, that is the Irish goodbye, but you know what, as well, it's how we actually say goodbye.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny. It goes from a different array, or even to answer the phone. Like, I can always nearly tell every time I go to ring my mammy what way she's going to answer the phone. And it's just whatever mood I kind of feel in the moment, right? Mammy's going to answer the phone. It's not like, oh yeah, no. Yes, Kayleigh. Yes, daughter. Do you know, something like that. But I find as well, if you ever notice with some people, and I've caught myself doing it actually, when you're saying goodbye, bye, bye-bye. Bye. Right? It's like, I believe you have a story on the bye. You know someone who has a very musical.
It's not even his story. It's like, it's such an Irish thing though, that when you're on the phone, you can't just say goodbye once. Like, you can't. Physically impossible. You can't just go bye. So it doesn't feel right.
No.
So I used to work with a girl called Brina. And we worked on reception together for a good few years. And then during COVID, she moved to Glasgow and met her partner, Andy. They fell in love and they got married and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
But Brina was the best person on the phone. For, like, her mannerisms on the phone was always really good anyway, like, and her vocabulary is quite extensive. So she always spoke really, really well. But every time she was saying goodbye, it didn't matter who she was saying goodbye to on the phone, like, this was in work, outside of work, it was always bye. Every single time.
Like a radio presenter.
Like a proper radio presenter. Like, almost you could, like, over and out. It was just bye.
Oh my God.
Every
that's
single
brilliant.
time. And even still to this day, if you're on the phone to her, I say, right, chat to you later. She's like, okay, bye. And I'm just like, she's never lost it. She's never lost it.
That is brilliant. And then, do you know what? There's another one, and I find my partner does it an awful lot. I used to do it as a young one, but I find he does it like that. It's when he's on the phone to the lads, and it's good look. Right?
Yeah.
You never hear it. When he's talking to, as I said, the lads, this is what it is. Well, it's like, it starts with good luck, but the good luck ends up with good luck. You forget the D, and then it's look.
Yeah, and it just fades away.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Whereas I've actually heard him once, or well, a few times on the phone to his sister, and it's bye. And then it's hung up. It's so funny that, like, I think it depends on who you're talking to as well.
Yeah.
Because I'd be a devil for a lot of the time when I hang up the phone on somebody. I will say, like, bye. But before I get to that point, I will always say I love you first. So I do. I always say I love you, because at least I know if anything happens to me, I know the last thing I ever said to somebody was I love you.
Yeah, 100%.
So
yeah.
If you're ever in somebody's house and you're getting up to go, you slap your knee. Right, we're off now.
Are we right now, folks?
Because I actually think that's hilarious. So
that's actually, do you know what? I never actually thought of that before. Yeah. But for some unknown reason, that's exactly what we do. Like, if I'm sitting down and the kids are playing or whatever, and no matter where we are, it's always like, all right, right, we're just going out. Now, 2 hands on the knees, 1 hand on the knee, you're just like, we're ready to go now. Yeah. I actually never thought of that.
Or however many times you say, right, I may go. You could say it 10 times.
Oh, sure. How many times do we say that?
there's nothing, and I mean nothing. My partner's family, they take the mick, and they know what to do because they call it their surname goodbye. So the surname goodbye, and it could take 40 attempts. I could be upstanding in my partner's mum's kitchen, ready to go, because he has said goodbye once. And I need to learn it's going to have to be said at least 400 more times before we leave the house.
So next time you just sit down
and just miss it. Yeah.
On to the ick list. So my ick today is very small, very basic. Absolutely hate people who use a 3-in-1, 4-in-1, 100-in-1 body wash. I mean, you should not be able to wash your face, brush your teeth, wash your hands, and scrub your nails with the same.
And clean the car.
With the same product. You should not be able to do that. That's not okay.
I totally agree.
Like, how is, like, shampoo is to wash your hair, conditioner is to condition your hair treatment is to make your hair nice and soft, and like, why is there a 3-in-1? Why is there a 3-in-1? Now, in saying that, my husband uses it. Oh, he uses the 3-in-1. And I'm like, he comes out and he's like, oh, it's great, everything in the one bottle. And I'm like, no, that's not okay. It actually does. Oh, it annoys me more than icks me.
Yeah, I get you. Totally get you. Mine is kind of just a short and sweet one. So, like, I understand this being done if it's in the formal setting. So, like, if you text someone, right, and it's just a simple text, why in the name of God are you signing it off with who you are? One of our listeners sent a Instagram message to us and just briefly explained that certain somebody in her life will send a text message as simple as, bring home a drop of milk. Ma'am. Ma, your number's saved in my phone. I know who you are. It's totally acceptable when people sign off their standard formal text messages to people in a formal setting, but not your friend
or your family.
Not your family. I know who you are. You're saved in my freaking phone book for a reason, under a name or said nickname. That'd be like me texting you and just going signing off the message, Kayleigh.
Yeah, I'd find that really
weird. Would you ever go way out at your gobshite? Or if I was to send you a note, a love letter, a voice note,
and then ended it with
Kayleigh.
Yeah, I'd probably punch you in the
Peace
face.
out.
So this is a personal confession.
Okay.
And I don't even know if I want to incriminate myself to this because it's really gross, but it's needs as must moment.
Okay.
Do you know, like, needs as must? Like, if you absolutely have to, you have to, kind of thing. And you're going to laugh at me because you were with me when this happened.
I've been fucking dragged down as well. I may
or may not have told you a little white lie at the time.
Oh my God, what is this? I'm scared.
So, do you remember when I was about 36 weeks pregnant on Matthew, you brought me away for the weekend to Dungarvan?
Yeah.
Into the in the caravan.
Yeah.
And we had gone for like a brief walk. You're looking at me so confused. We had gone for like a brief walk that day. And you had been like, this is the hotel, this is this, that, blah, blah, whatever. And do you remember the next morning I woke up and I was up way before you, because obviously I was like 36 weeks pregnant. I was really unsettled and whatever else. And I had gotten up and I couldn't find the toilet.
Yes.
So you said to me after you got up, you were like, did you find the toilet okay? And I was like, yeah, it's fine, I found it. Truth is, I did not find the toilet.
In the caravan site?
In the caravan
Or
site.
the caravan?
Or the caravan. No, the caravan you had said not to use if I needed to poop.
Yes.
Because,
you can't flush and whatever.
Flush, whatever. I walked around that caravan site for about an hour while you were snoring your head off in the caravan.
Fuck off.
clenching my butt cheeks together.
So why didn't you go to the toilets on the seafront?
What?
The toilets on the seafront, I told you.
Sure,
If you
I
could...
didn't know where they were. Kayleigh, I could barely find...
When we look out in the sea view, the big yellow block of toilets is the toilets, so there were.
Did not even process any of that.
Oh, no.
I was waddling around like a duck. Like a duck.
So where'd you poo?
I didn't. I held it.
So you waited till I woke,
Yes.
instead of fucking wakening me,
Yes.
which you knew I wouldn't have minded,
Yes.
to bring it to the toilet.
Yeah.
Stacey,
I clenched my butt cheeks. I was fine.
at that point, I would have went to the sea and shit in it. You were 36 weeks pregnant. It would have been a satisfactory excuse for it. Plop. But at that point, you would have passed the toilets on the seafront to get to the sea.
Well, look, noted that there is toilets on seafront for next time.
Absolutely
For next
brilliant. So what was the white lie? Oh, that you went to the toilet.
Yeah.
You couldn't find the toilet.
You told me, you're like, did you find the toilets? And I'm like, yeah, no, I found them.
Although your sense of direction is not great.
Correct. You see, there's the other side.
And then 36 weeks pregnant with baby brain does not help.
Thank you. See?
Although there's two
Let's
massive
validate.
blocks of toilets.
If you keep going on about these blocks of toilets now, give me the serious confession now. Will you?
Okay,
Back
so-
to the shite.
This is an email that was sent in by a male listener.
Oh, this is interesting. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and do you know what? God love him. He is and he isn't in a bit of a predicament.
Oh.
So he called it double life.
He named it that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I live a very normal life. I have a 9-to-5 job, mortgage, dog, and family. But for the last 3 years, I've been secretly posting content on an adult-only site. Yeah. Which has turned out to be highly profitable. My wife is starting to question where the extra income is coming from. And basically, he just ends it with, do I tell her, or do I tell her I got a promotion?
Oh my God.
And it is literally, please keep it anonymous.
Oh my God.
poor
Can you
man
imagine, like,
That's advice. Yeah.
oh my God. Like, talk about making a confession, but he's almost like pleading for help as well.
Yeah.
Like, tell me what to do kind
Yeah.
of a thing.
Yeah.
I think if it was me, I would just be honest with her because, like, he has a family,
Yeah.
he has a mortgage, therefore they're committed to each other.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they're that committed, he should be able to be open and honest with her and say, like,
Yeah.
this is what I've been doing. Like, he obviously doesn't give the extent to what he was posting.
No.
Like, and I would imagine that he was posting images where he couldn't be recognized.
Possibly.
Because obviously if he was posting where his face was being seen, people would have seen
Yeah,
it.
especially if it's local.
Yeah.
Because he only states that it's content on an adult-only site.
So he doesn't even
he
say
does
what
not-
site it is.
No, he does not mention the name of the site that he is using whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think the easiest thing to do would be bite the bullet and tell her.
Mm-hmm.
Although that could totally ruin the relationship as well, because depending on the explicitity, I don't know how to say that word,
Yeah.
on the content and how explicit it is,
Yeah.
that could totally ruin the relationship.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know if I can
So,
make
like,
a call on that.
The way you'd want to go about this is kind of a devil's advocate kind of a side of it. So, like, then you have the other side of it of, tell her you got a promotion. She should be just happy that there's money there.
Yeah.
Do you know? And I'm not coming from it because I wholeheartedly believe and agree with you. Be honest with her. But at the end of the day, if he was to say, right, for argument's sake, yeah, I got a promotion in work, and heaven forbid there's a Christmas party that she has to attend, that's if his job that he's in does Christmas parties. Some places don't, you know,
Yeah.
some places do. And then she turns up like, what was his promotion? Like, depending on where he works, what can he be promoted to?
Yeah.
Is it a possibility that he can be promoted?
She would definitely ask questions.
Do you know? So, like, I want to agree with you and say, be honest and tell her the truth.
Mhm.
But at the same time, if he thinks he can get away with it for another X amount of months and continue to provide for, as he said, he has a family, he has a mortgage, the extra income is obviously covering that. Or is it, let's say, his work pay that's covering it and the extra is allowing them their luxuries? Do you know? I don't know much about freaking adult-only sites or posting shite like that. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
And I don't mean shite like that to discriminate the gentleman or whatever, so I don't. But, like, it is very hard to give advice, isn't it, in this in this line or whatever else. But, like, at the back of it all, I think to kind of round it up, you'd be honest.
I think being honest would be the best thing for him.
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely. But I want to thank this listener for feeling that he could reach out with such
vulnerable kind of information.
And very heavy. And like, as we said, anything that comes into us stays anonymous. It does not go past our lips. Yes, we discussed it amongst ourselves because obviously we either discussed it amongst ourselves or we're kind of like, right, we'll hold that kind of maybe till the moment and get the other person's raw reaction to it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think thank you.
Yeah.
For feeling like you could reach out to us, especially being a man.
Definitely. And I do think that anybody that is listening, always remember that we are open to taking everybody's confessions, anybody's icks, anything you want to hear us cover on the podcast. Please email us on waitilitelya@gmail.com. You will also find us on Facebook and Instagram.
And that's all from us for this episode. Thank you so much for listening in.
Right now, folks, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.